So why did I pick the Speed Triple? I mean, for me, and it's all just personal preference, ain't it really? Like, I just think the Speed's the best looking. Like, I don't necessarily think naked sports bikes are particularly good looking machines anyway. I think their proportions look a bit wrong. I don't like the way that you've kind of got all of this stylized fairing or body panels and headlight arrangement, and you just got a set of fucking handlebars sitting over the top of them. But I just liked the fact that they looked very muscular. And when I look at something like a Chuono, which is arguably one of the best sort of nakeds out there, I just think it looks fucking ugly. It looks like a V4 half finished. Like, I know I'm probably insulting some of you boys out there that have got them, and I don't mean to, well, I don't really give a fuck if you get insulted over that, to be honest. Like, you know, stop being a fucking bitch. But in the same breath, like, I'm not trying to be nasty about it. That's just my view on it. I don't like them, you know. I don't like the look of them. I think they sound the fucking bollocks, and I bet they go like a stab rat, but I just don't like the look of them. And for me, a big part of owning the bike is how it looks. I've got to look back at it and be happy I picked this bike, you know. Like, I can't be walking away from it going, oh, I just wish I got, you know, wish I got that version, I wish I got this version. And I'll tell you something else as well, where the Speed RS is, as much as everybody might not think it is Triumph's flagship model. There isn't a more expensive bike, I don't think anymore anyway, that in its lineup. The finish on the bike is fantastic. All the bolts are just like anti-corrosive, nice and shiny. You know, everything's got a nice finish. There's a cap over anything that shouldn't be shown. All the bolts are really nice quality bolts. They're not shit bolts. They're like, it's just a very nicely finished package. And the Speed RS even more so. It's even nicer. I mean, yeah, the chain sort of assembly rear wheel hub thing looks fucking dog shit, but I don't really know what I could do with that. I've seen kits for Ducatis, but I've never seen one for a Speed Triple. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I just think they're the best looking naked sports you can get. Like, I just do. I think they're beefy. I like the Streets, and obviously the Streets took their design cues from the Speeds, but they just look very narrow and a bit dainty and feminine, like, for me, you know. Again, I know a lot of you guys, some people I talk to on Instagram on a regular basis, they've all got Streets and they absolutely love them. And I loved the RS when I had a go on it. I thought it was a wicked bike, but it just feels very small and very dainty between me. I like something to be a bit more, you know, muscle something about. And I don't care if people say, oh, well, an RS would beat you around the track. Yeah, maybe. I don't give a fuck. It depends if the rider can, doesn't it? Just, yeah, I don't care. But yeah, that's kind of that. And then the R version. Now, I'm going to start this kind of little bit with this kind of not analogy, but my experience with a very similar thing. So my Daytona, as a lot of you probably know from other videos you've watched, I got that at a pretty fucking stonking deal. 8 grand pre-registered, just a one-off. I went in there to buy my shark lid, and mate, fuck, thing's sitting there, 8 grand pre-registered, brand new, never ridden. And I've come out with a, you know, a brand new Daytona at the time, a 2014 Daytona. I was like, sweet. And I loved my Daytona, like, I really did. I gelled with that bike so well. It was such a good machine. Really taught me a lot about just biking and pushing it to the limits, and riding fast, and, you know, had no traction control or nothing like it. It was just such a good bike. I'd love to almost buy another one. But I always had this thing that every time I see a 675R, the Öhlins and the curb appeal of that 675R was just, it would never go away. I always wanted the R version. I always wanted to find a way of putting the Öhlins on my bike, of putting the carbon fibre bits on, of just all the little gubbins it had, I always wanted them, and I could never really afford to get them. But if I just went for the 675R, I probably could have afforded the bike. Now that stuck with me when I was looking at the speeds, because I tried a Speed Triple standard. There wasn't an S or an RS back then, it was just Speed Triple. So I tried a standard one, and I was like, I really like it, you know, I really like it. A bit more modern, looks great, I really like it, but it's just missing that bit of tinsel, that bit of kind of, yeah, curb appeal, that this is my bike. Everybody look, everybody come, stop what you're doing, come and look at my bike. It missed that little bit of curb appeal, and when I sort of test rode an R, I could feel like a bit of difference with the Olin. It's not much, like, you know, but it definitely felt a bit stiffer, a bit more planted on the road. Nothing terrible, probably, you know, tyres have been scrubbed in that day a bit better, who knows. Wish this fucking scooter would move out of the way. But yeah, and it just reminded me of the Daytona and how I felt about wanting the R version. I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get the R version, because I will always regret not buying the R version, but I'll never regret buying the R version. So I bought the R version, and I'm happy with my decision. You know, I've never regretted buying this over a standard one. And yeah, it's different. You know, if you're at the top end of your budget stretching for a Speed Triple, fair play, like, nothing wrong with that. But essentially, like, I didn't want to. I wanted to have the R version. Thank you. Watery eyes. Yeah, for me, it was worth the extra expense. So if you ask me whether the R version is worth more, then is it worth getting? To me, yes, I think it is. I think they look better, they've got that curb appeal bling, and if you do want to push it a little bit more to the edge of its abilities, not saying that I'm a fantastic rider, or maybe I'm not, I don't know, but like pushing it to the edge of its abilities, but you're more than likely to be able to do it with the Olin setup than the whatever the other shocks it comes with setup, is all I'm saying. But if you're you know, quite happy that you're never ever going to achieve that, and the kind of gold bits don't bother you, then get a standard one, or an S instead of an RS. Do you know what I mean? Like, but also in terms of that worth, if you try to buy the Olin separate to the bike, it would cost you a lot more than the price upgrade from a standard one to an R. So yeah, like, you know, there's a few ways you can look at it, and look at it how you will. For me, it's worth it. Joe Blogs buying the bike might not be worth it. Other than that, I think I'm done. Let me know if you enjoyed this. We'll make it a bit more of a regular thing and a bit more specific on Instagram. I'll try and do a little maintenance video on what's easy jobs to do, what kind of maintenance I do to my bike, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.